feeling the world before our eyes moving round and round, losing our dividend and anxiety ran through our veins. The chandelier was hovering above me, that no one saw it coming.
Hi guys, sorry, our situation is really bad here. An earthquake just hit our city and I've been struggling to find ways to join our meeting.
Oh, Nar, it's okay. You shouldn't have done that. Please stay safe right there and your family. I hope everything will be okay. Keep safe always, Nar.
Yeah.
We are waking up to the aftermath of a powerful earthquake that shook parts of Mindanao last night.
We're going to move on now to the breaking news this morning. A powerful earthquake hitting the Philippines in the middle of the night. There are deaths and injuries and frantic rescue efforts happening as we speak. And ABC's Bob Woodruff.
Please stay safe if you can. If you're still feeling aftershocks in your area, please stay safe. Follow the procedures for a safe evacuation.
Everything went blurred in front of me. But who was to blame? Was it the world?
911, what's your emergency?
We didn't want this. Or did we?
Hello everyone, good evening. And our program objectives is, at the end of the lecture, the learners will be able to describe what happens during and after an earthquake, identify at least 2 self-protection measures for before, during and after an earthquake, enumerate at least 3 nursing responsibilities for before, during and after an earthquake, and describe the importance of disaster awareness and preparedness. What is earthquake? An earthquake is caused by a sudden slip on a fault. The tectonic plates are slowly moving, but they get stuck at their edges due to the friction. Earthquakes are unquestionably a devastating natural calamity. Earthquakes loss of lives and property. Some earthquakes are rare and go unnoticed for a long time. It is also defined as any sudden ground shaking caused by seismic waves traveling through to the earth rocks. And earthquakes most commonly occur along geologic faults, which are narrow zones where rocks masses move in relation to one another. Seismic waves are generated when energy stored in the Earth's crust is suddenly released, usually when masses of rocks straining against one another suddenly fracture and then slip. And the world's primary fault lines run along the boundaries of the enormous tectonic plates that make up the Earth's crust, and for the primary hazard of the earthquake. Earthquakes cause ground shaking, which is danger in and of itself, as well as a trigger for additional hazards including liquefaction and landslides. The trembling of the ground during an earthquake is referred to as ground shaking. On higher hills or mountains, the ground shaking may create landslides and mudslides. And for the secondary hazard of the earthquake, dangers such as broken utility lines, toxic spills, and fires are frequently caused by these fundamental hazards. Buildings have the potential to disintegrate or collapse, trapping people within and burying streets in debris, and anything in the workplace that might induce on an unintended loss of balance or bodily support, resulting in a fall, is a fall hazard. And now, let's proceed to the self-protection measures before of the earthquake. Number 1, review and practice evacuation and earthquake plans for all buildings you occupy regularly. Number 2, stock up on emergency supplies. Number 3, practice drop, cover, and hold in each safe place. And number 4, be smart about the item placement. Number 5, make plans with your family. And let's proceed to the during of an earthquake. And if you are inside, Stay inside and drop, cover and hold. Stay away from windows and heavy objects. And if you are at school, get under a desk or a table and drop, cover and hold. Face away from windows. And if you are outside, stay outside and go to an open area away from buildings, power lines, trees, and street lights. And then drop to the ground and stay there until the shaking stops. And if you are in your car, pull over to a clear area. Avoid bridges, overpasses, buildings, underpasses, or anything that could collapse. Put on your seatbelt and stay in your car. Do not attempt to get out of your car if there are down power lines across it. Let's wait for the assistance.
Provision of a safe and effective care precedes the provision of a safe evacuation area. Beyond the bedside, nurses attend to prioritize patient safety after an earthquake. Nurses have a responsibility to ensure an optimal healthcare environment to enable patient recovery, respite, or relief. Nurses' role in disaster are integral to delivering safe, quality care at both individual and system level. Nurses must set priorities, make decisions, and collaborate with team members. They must identify and bridge gaps in care that could place patients' health at risk. In addition, it is important in an evacuation area to ensure appropriate infection prevention measures by all staff and evacuees to reduce the spread of infectious diseases. And also, the level of noise, the temperature, and the amount of light are all important, but the cleanliness of the environment is crucial, conferring a sense of safety and comfort, and promoting an atmosphere of a competent care. During an impactful disaster, the role of a triage nurse conforms to the provision of safe care in an environment away from risk that can lead to further injuries. In these high-pressure situations, it's important to have nurses who can offer care while also exhibiting leadership in disaster nursing and emergency preparedness. Advanced triage system involves a color coding scheme using red, yellow, green, white, and black tags. For the red tags, it means for immediate, are used to label those who cannot survive without immediate treatment but who have a chance of survival. For the yellow tags is for observation, for those who require observation and possible later retriage. Their condition is stable for the moment and they are not in immediate danger of death. These victims will still need hospital care and would be treated immediately under normal circumstances. Next is the green tags. It means to wait, are reserved for the walking wounded who. And next is advanced triage system involves a color coding scheme using red, yellow, green, white, and black tags. Red tags means for immediate, are used to label those who cannot survive without immediate treatment but who have a chance of survival. Yellow tags is for observation, for those who. Advanced triage system involves a color coding scheme using red, yellow, green, white, and black tags.
Healthcare facilities. Facilities must be clean and organized since environment can affect the patient's health. Providing health services in a clean facilities will affect the patient's condition, in which it could help them to feel better and have a fast recovery. We must not realize it at first, but environment has an impact in a healthcare setting. In fact, having a clean and organized facilities will prevent the spread of bacteria from one to another, which means it would not harm and put the patient's health in a critical condition. Moreover, environment not only help the patient's condition to be recovered, but also lead to a better health care and effective treatment that could satisfy the patient's needs.
Nursing responsibilities. Restoring normalcy not just to individuals but the community as a whole. Natural disasters have become commonplace in certain regions of the country. For example, seasonal hurricanes, flooding, storms, and earthquake. In some cases, these disasters can have the compounding effect of causing injury and, in extreme cases, death. Nurses play an important role in restoring a sense of normalcy, not just to individuals but to communities as a whole. This might mean helping to ensure that normal hospital and clinic operations can commence as quickly as possible despite damaged infrastructure. Triage can be carried out in different locations. Emergency treatment can be given wherever there is room for a bed or trolley for the sick enough space for the staff to work, and where appropriate drugs and supplies are accessible. So, what is triage? Triage refers to the evaluation and categorization of the sick or wounded when there are insufficient resources for medical care of everyone at once. When and where should triaging take place? First is, in mass casualty situations, triage is used to decide who is most urgently in need of transportation to a hospital for care. Generally, those who have a chance of survival but who would die without immediate treatment, and whose injuries are less severe and must wait for medical care. Second is, triage is also commonly used in crowded emergency rooms and walk-in clinics to determine which patient should be seen and treated immediately. Third is, triage may be used to prioritize the use of space or equipment such as operating rooms in a crowded medical facility. Who should triage? Triage nurse. In advanced triage systems, secondary triage is typically implemented by emergency nurses, skilled paramedics, or battlefield medical personnel within the emergency departments of hospitals during disasters. Injured people are sorted into categories.
Advanced triage system involves a color coding scheme using red, yellow, green, white, and black tags. For the red tags, it means immediate, are used to label those who cannot survive without immediate treatment but who have a chance of survival. Next, yellow tags, it means for observation, for those who require observation and possible later re-triage. Their condition is stable for the moment and they are not in immediate danger of death. These victims will still need hospital care and would be treated immediately under normal circumstances. Next are green tags. This means to wait, are reserved for the walking wounded who will need medical care at some point, after some critical injuries have been treated. Next, the white tags. It means dismiss, are given to those with minor injuries for whom a doctor's care is not required. And lastly, the black tags, or expectant, are used for the deceased and for those whose injuries are so extensive that they will not be able to survive given the care that is available.
How to triage? In a disaster or mass casualty situation, different systems for triage have been developed. One system is known as START, that stands for Simple Triage and Rapid Treatment. In START, victims are grouped into 4 categories depending on the urgency of their need for evacuation. The categories in START are: first, the deceased who are beyond help, the injured who could be helped by immediate transportation, the injured with less injuries whose transport can be delayed, and lastly are those with minor injuries that not required urgent care.